This happened in Bowling Green, Kentucky, a town which, at the time, a man named Bruce Wilkerson was the mayor of. He owned a small house in the area that he was in the middle of renovating, but he would still stay there overnight in the weeks the house was being worked on. It was the middle of the night on April 22nd, 2020, when Bruce was woken up to loud noises coming from the house's basement. As he was coming to, he also recalled smelling cigarette smoke. Now, the basement was more of a cellar, and then you had to go inside to actually get to it. Bruce went outside and walked up to its entrance. Right away, he noticed blood smeared across the basement door.
Oh, fuck, don't go in there.
Enough to raise concern. He opened the door and
Why?
walked inside.
No. Why would you go
There
in
he found
there?
a backpack filled with women's clothing and other various items. Bruce immediately called the Bowling Green Police Department, a department which he had previously worked for as a police officer. He asked them if there were any reports of a missing woman. He was told that there were none, so he closed the basement door and went back upstairs. Only moments after he got back inside, the house suddenly lost power. This prompted him to again go back out to the basement.
Call the police. Tell them to
The
come out
basement
here.
door was open. He once again searched inside.
Why would you go
Now
in
found
there?
a woman who looked to be in her 20s. She was disheveled and covered in dirt. The woman told Bruce one thing, that she was hiding from someone. Bruce offered to call the police, but to that she immediately left the basement and ran away. Nothing had been
She's
found,
full of shit.
so he wasn't interested in her arrest, but he still ended up calling the police. Police searched the surrounding area, however they never found the woman. It's still unknown how long she had been staying there. Her identity is also still unknown, and with no relevant missing person cases, it's likely this won't change anytime soon.
No, she was probably
She hasn't been
transient.
seen ever since.
Somebody might have been looking for her, like, heard her. And she might have been staying
It's
there.
August 2nd, 2010, just past 8 p.m. A security guard in Ontario, Canada was doing his nightly rounds on rural government-owned airport lands. Among the trees, the area was dotted with a few abandoned houses that were commonly targeted by vandals and arsonists. On this night, the security guard noticed a suspicious vehicle parked close to one of the houses. He decided to sit there and wait for the owner to return. 2 hours would pass until he finally gave up and continued doing his rounds. By the time he did a full circle and returned to the same spot, the car was gone. It wasn't much, but the security guard still made a report about it. Fast forward
Oh, I've been on back roads that look like that.
and a set of contractors
I ain't been on
were
one
sent to the same
like
house
that in
to
a
examine
long
it for
time,
later
though.
demolition. However, as they were completing their inspection, they would discover something in the basement. They walked inside and saw chains bolted to the ceiling extending to the ground. The whole room was recently painted completely white.
Fucking Cenobites in
There was a
there.
construction bench, along with tools marked with red paint. There were multiple jugs of water. All the windows had been double paned. The walls and ceiling were insulated with double-layered fiberglass. Unsettled by the sight, the contractors called the police. Police considered various scenarios. For example, they considered if it could have been a movie set. But, of course, they also considered the much darker
Fucking Jeffrey Dahmer in
someone was
there.
planning to abduct another person and lock them inside. This prompted them to look through filed reports, and this would lead them to the report made by the security guard over a year prior. Fortunately, the security guard had written down the car's license plate in the report, which gave police a starting point.
It was
Eventually,
Ted
this would lead
Bundy.
them to a man named Robert Edwin White.
Yeah.
After that, not much research was required to put the rest of the case together. Robert's wife had recently ended their marriage, and she would turn to her close friend, Gwen Armstrong, for support. This made Robert grow a deep resentment towards Gwen, as he felt she was responsible. Robert's now ex-wife would
Yeah, she responsible.
Robert ran a renovation business, and that he always marked his tools with red paint, which was consistent with what they found in the basement. This was enough to get him arrested, and while in custody, he would admit to renovating the abandoned house's basement, although he didn't say why he did it.
He's planning on
His
doing
was
something.
thoroughly questioned in court. There, he admitted that he wanted to abduct Gwen Armstrong, his ex-wife's friend, who, again, he felt was responsible for his divorce. Robert was charged with
Yeah.
breaking and entering with the intent to commit an
No
attempted
accountability for yourself. Just it's her fault. I'm gonna like kidnap her,
offense. Before we
torture
continue,
her.
I wanted to talk about this video's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow
Raid
Legends.
Shadow Legends boasts 600 unique champions and hundreds of
I already
artifacts,
have
which you get to
Raid
combine to
Shadow
build your
Legends.
perfect team to fight your
I actually have
battles
2
and reach the
accounts,
top
so
of the Doom Tower. The Doom Tower is
this I
It's
can't
essentially a
use
giant
any of
prison
this.
housing numerous challenging bosses to overcome. If It features multiple floors, each one presenting a new challenge for your team of champions. Some floors will even require specific mechanics to be overcome, like the Scarab King. He takes barely any damage unless you reduce his max HP, and if you attack him without a shield buff on, he'll destroy your team extremely fast. This month, Raid released a new feature.
Yeah, I'm never even got to that, dude.
Dungeon, Iron Twins Fortress, which if your team can take down, can offer you a huge payoff. Additionally, Raid recently released the legendary champion Ultimate Death Knight.
Yeah, I got
that. You
that.
can get for free if you log in and play Raid
Yeah,
for 7
I got
days
that
between
one.
now and October 27th. And by entering promo code DKRises, you can get enough free items to instantly upgrade Ultimate Death Knight to level 50 5-star Ascension. New players can use my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to download the game to your mobile phone and PC and get a free starter pack.
Well, I can't do that because, like I said, I already got the game. This is for people who don't have the game already.
But sign up now because these rewards will only be available for.
Oh, I'm about to say, is that Namor? I didn't even see you.
In October of 2015, a set of pictures was posted online to the popular image sharing website Imager. They were posted by a guy named Jerry, who at the time had just moved out from his parents' house to live in his own house that he purchased. At first, the post looks pretty innocent. The first few pictures show parts of the basement with accompanying text. The text explained how he just purchased the house only 2 weeks ago. The previous owner had passed away, and the house was very old, which made it a pretty cheap.
I hate stairs like that in basements where somebody could just reach and just grab you and make you fall down the stairs.
Jerry explains how when he purchased the home, the basement was completely full of junk, like to the point where you couldn't even really go down there. When he purchased the house, he started cleaning it out himself, and that's when he noticed a sheet of plywood oddly fitting against the wall, something he never noticed before. He tried moving it, but it was pinned to the wall by the stairs. He pried at the top of it and could make out another room. He pulled harder at the wood, and it finally gave way. Immediately, he saw a safe. He stepped inside the room and tried to open it, but it was locked. He searched the rest of the small room and found multiple gun cases. They were all stacked on top of one another.
Uh-oh. Terrorists.
Crates upon crates of
Domestic terrorists.
different kinds, too. As he kept looking, he just kept finding more. Also,
Grenades?
a hand grenade.
Wow.
Although it wasn't active, it didn't have a pin to pull.
No,
As
it's
for the safe,
probably
it's still no
dud.
one's inside. Jerry never gave an update on if he was even able to get it open or not.
Or else he didn't have somebody like cut it open. Because technically it's his now.
17-year-old living in Yelm, Washington. It was nearing the end of 2012, around the time of year where it was really starting to get cold outside. Velma would routinely use her house's furnace to keep the place warm, but she started noticing how little of an effect it had on the temperature inside. The house would remain cold. She started putting the furnace to its max setting, but still the house stayed cold. Finally, it got too cold to bear. She called out a repairman to fix the issue.
It's a dead body.
He went down to her basement where the furnace was operating, and there he found something strange. The furnace was working fine, but the air duct had been torn so as to redirect the heat to the basement instead of the house upstairs. The repairman also noticed empty beer bottles and other trash scattered around the basement floor.
Oh, she never went down
He
there?
fixed the ducts and went up to tell Velma. When she heard about it, she recalled other oddities, like how there would sometimes be the smell of cigarettes around her house at random times, or how she had always noticed her backyard gate was left open after she knew she had closed it the night before.
You have a
Then
visitor.
realized that someone had clearly been in Velma's basement. Police were called and they further investigated.
And they knew how to redirect the
Someone
vent.
was in the basement through a crawl space, which was covered by a slab of stone. Velma replaced this duct the very next day. No arrests have been made, and nothing has happened since.
Or they
How long this
probably
person
came
lived in
back
Velma's
and couldn't
basement,
notice they
I don't
couldn't
know.
get in there.
In July of 2017, Joshua Seguin, a man from New York, was pulled over by police while traveling through Georgia. He didn't have a driver's license, and so he was arrested on the spot. Police searched his truck, and strangely, they found 5 undersized sharks in a large circular tank in the bed of the truck.
Whoa, what?
Owning or even transporting these animals was illegal in the state without a proper license, something which Joshua didn't have. Joshua admitted that he was transporting the sharks to New York, where he intended to sell them. This prompted police to request a search warrant of Joshua's house. They were granted it days later. They immediately searched the house, and when they entered the basement, they found a 15-foot above-ground pool. Inside Inside were more illegally kept sharks, some of them endangered. There were 10 of them in total, 7 live sandbar sharks, 2 dead leopard sharks, and a dead hammerhead shark. The animals were carefully relocated to a nearby aquarium. Investigators believe that Joshua was likely breeding the sharks to sell to private collectors. He was later charged in court with illegal possession of the sharks with the intent to sell. In 2019, police discovered an underground bunker under a remote farmhouse in the Netherlands. Living inside of it, they found a 58-year-old man and a family of 6 siblings ranging from 18 to 25 years old when they were discovered.
Damn.
The 6 siblings had been living solely in the bunker for nearly a decade. This became apparent when they were questioned by police and struggled to form full sentences. It was later revealed that none of them had been to school a day in their lives. They didn't even know any other people existed in the world. All 7 of them were allegedly staying in the bunker to hide and wait for the end of the world to come.
Oh, fuck. It's one of these doomsday preppers.
Broke out of the bunker and ran to a nearby pub that anyone was made aware. This was the first time the man had seen sunlight in nearly a decade. The man took up a conversation with the pub's owner, who after hearing his story called the police and alerted them of the situation. That's when the police raided the underground bunker and freed the rest of the siblings, who all wished to change how they lived. The police put the 58-year-old man in custody, and that's when they discovered that he wasn't the siblings' father as they'd originally assumed. The man didn't even own the farmhouse they had been hiding in.
Oh, wow.
The windows had been boarded up, and it appeared they had been living self-sufficient
So
with
he
their
just
own vegetable garden and animals.
kidnap people?
The 58-year-old man was arrested and later questioned further by police, but he never gave them his identity. As for the siblings, they were all brought to a safer place. The community was left in nothing but shock after the whole discovery.
I mean, that's impressive that they, had their own garden. They was pretty much self-sufficient, but he was holding them in there against their will. So they wanted to get out. That's why one of them escaped and he ran to a nearby pub. And then, why were you keeping this? That's interesting. I was like, were you? I mean, clearly this person thought the world was going to end, but they said he wasn't the father to any of them. So, who were these people? What? You kidnapped them? Are these street kids that you just took off the street? What? Where do you get these kids from? So what did the oldest one was? It was 25. So he'd been on. He said that one hadn't seen the sun in over a decade, and he's he's so assured, or so sure that the world's gonna end that he just stays down. They're like, cause it might end. Well, I'm at the store, and then I won't be able to get back to my bunker. That's like people who are religious and they think the world. They keep saying the world's gonna end, the apocalypse or the rapture's gonna happen. And it's they almost want to force it to happen because they keep talking about it happening, and the fact that it's not happening makes people question their religion, and they don't want people to question their religion. So they're like, well, how can we force it to happen? You see that with cults. Where they keep talking about the world's going to end, the world's going to end. Every religion, the cult, whatever, they always talking about some apocalyptic event where the whole world just ends in a day. Everything just happens all at once. At this moment, hole opens up and demons fly out and shit like that, some people more practical. They're like, it's just going to be like a big earthquake. And it's going to be just worldwide. And everybody going to sink into the ground. And it's going to be water above everybody. Or the water just going to all of a sudden just rise instantly. Not over the course of a decade, just 38 feet, just instant. And then you have people we gonna make it happen. If it doesn't happen now, or we say, oh, it's supposed to happen in at this point in time, and then that point in time comes and goes, and you're like, huh. In the world that happened, then you have some religions that just move the goalposts that was gonna happen this year, what's gonna happen this year. And they'll move it in like another 50 years, and it still don't happen. The end of the world, and where the true believers will be taken off into heaven, or you will be allowed to stay on earth, but everybody else will be anyone who is evil or didn't believe will be killed or something like that. And people who were kind of like didn't believe in anything, they'll be allowed to stay, but you will be immortal because you actually believe, but they'll just left to be human, and then they'll just age until they die. You know, and the scariest ones are the people who who believe in that, and when it don't come true or to fruition, they're like, we're gonna make it happen, because we can't, because you've been brainwashed into thinking that something is supposed to happen, and then it doesn't. And then you like the people they keep moving it. Oh well, actually, guys, it's gonna happen this year, and then it don't happen. They keep moving, and you just like some people like, well, I'm gonna make it happen, And this dude like keeping these people down here. It's one thing if you want to do that yourself, and you be like, hey, the world gonna end in the next 10 years, and you want to stay down there yourself in your doomsday prep bunker, that's fine. But when you start forcing other people to do it, that's when we have a problem, But anyway, hope you enjoyed my reaction. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe in here, hit that bell so you will know if I upload new videos. Comment down below, share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.